In the world of international politics, talking about nuclear weapons is kinda like talking about your ex. You say you've moved on, but deep down, you're still holding on. And now, Russia just dropped a confession that made the world raise its eyebrows. They admitted that, all this time, they've been tweaking and upgrading their nukes, even though there's been an official pause on rolling out that kind of hot stuff. Picture this: publicly saying, let's stop the fight for a bit, but behind the scenes, stockpiling weapons like it's a Black Friday sale. Moscow even claims they've built up a substantial arsenal, in other words, not your average firecrackers. The one spilling the tea, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, live on national TV. The news was first blasted out by Russia's RIA news agency, quoting Ryabkov's interview on Rossiya 1 TV. According to that report, Russia hasn't just been storing mid-range and short-range missile tech, they've been developing it the whole time during the moratorium. Ryabkov said that from the very start of the moratorium, Moscow made it clear that it only blocked deployment, not research and development. Translation: we can build it, just don't install it yet. They used the time to fine-tune the right systems and stack up an arsenal that's, let's just say, spine-tingling. As far as I understand, we've got it all now, Ryabkov said with full confidence. Earlier this month, Russia officially pulled the plug on its unilateral moratorium on deploying mid-range missiles. The reason? They said it was just a forced reaction to the actions of the United States and its squad. According to the Associated Press, this move could kick off a brand new arms race. Especially with Moscow-Washington tensions over Ukraine already like gasoline meeting fire. Russia's foreign ministry also issued a statement on August 5. It linked the decision to US and allied moves to develop and prep mid-range missiles for deployment in Europe and beyond. They accused the US and its allies of creating a missile potential that messes with stability near Russia. They even called it a direct threat to the security of the motherland. On top of that, Moscow warned of serious dangerous consequences for global stability, including the risk of some dangerously tense face-offs between nuclear powers. If we rewind history, the ground-based mid-range missile treaty was first signed back in 1987. The signatories, the Soviet Union and the United States, seen back then as a cooling-off moment between the two Cold War giants. But as always in geopolitics, the peace didn't last forever. Over time, the treaty started falling apart as relations heated up again. The US officially withdrew from the deal in 2019. That was during Donald Trump's first term in office. Washington claimed Moscow violated the agreement. Moscow flat out denied it. Since then, arms control space has gotten narrower. Many analysts say the world has entered a no-rules era when it comes to mid-range missiles. Russia seems more than ready for this unlimited scenario. With the substantial stockpile they claim, their bargaining power on the global stage is stronger than ever. For some, this isn't just about military strategy. It's also a political message. Don't mess with us. Still, the risks are crystal clear. If every nuclear power starts opening the vault and showing off their toys, we're looking at another arms race. Some analysts compare the situation to a domino effect. One country moves first, and the others follow just to keep up. This could also be a massive test for international diplomacy. Any new talks would be starting in a way more hostile environment than the 1980s. Many worry that moratorium will just be political jargon. Behind closed doors, everyone's still upgrading. One thing's for sure, this news has put a lot of countries on high alert. Especially with the Ukraine conflict showing no signs of slowing down. For Russia, this might be about keeping the balance of power. But for the rest of the world, it's a flashing red warning sign. Meanwhile, the US and its allies are probably recalculating their next moves. They won't want to fall behind in this global chess match. From the looks of it, this isn't just a military issue. It's about prestige, influence, and how a country is perceived on the world stage. The big question now, who's going to blink first? Or will everyone just hit the gas together? History's already shown us that arms races rarely end well. If this escalation isn't cooled down, the world could be heading right back to the tensest moments of the Cold War. That said, some experts believe Russia has been planning this move for a long time. They were just waiting for the perfect moment to drop it. The fact that they ended the moratorium while Moscow-West relations are boiling hot. That's some next-level psychological warfare right there. Plenty of analysts are calling this a high-stakes poker bluff. Not just holding an ace, but giving the kind of stare that makes the other player fold. The problem is, in the nuclear game, bluffs aren't harmless. One wrong move, and the whole world feels it. Even some non-nuclear states are starting to speak up. They're calling for a new negotiation table before things spiral out of control. The UN isn't staying quiet either. The Secretary General is urging all parties to exercise restraint and prioritize dialogue. But as usual, sweet diplomatic words often get overshadowed by political ego. Especially when sovereignty and military strength are on the line. The US and NATO will probably answer with massive military drills. Just to show they're also ready if this turns into a speed race. From Russia's point of view, their move is completely justified. They say the threats around their borders are reason enough. In reality, this is a race without a finish line. Every country's just making sure they don't fall behind. History's already given us a bitter lesson from the last arms race. Unfortunately, humanity seems to have a short memory. Now, the world's watching for the next big move. Will the next surprise come from Russia, or from the West? If this escalation keeps going, we might be looking at a Cold War 2.0. Only this time, the tech and weapons are way deadlier. One thing's certain in all of this. Russia just proved they're not all talk, they're ready for action. And for the world, that means just one word: watch out.